Hey guys, and welcome to the video. In this session we're going to take a look at 14 string checking methods. So these are methods which are called upon a string and either return true or false depending on what the string looks like. I'm going to do these in groups just so they make a bit more logical sense and there's a bit more flow to the video. The first three are isAlnum, isAlpha and isAscii. So isAlnum, this will return true if the characters in the string are either 0 to 9 or A to Z. isAlpha will only return true if they are letters A to Z. And finally, isAscii, this will return true if these are on the ASCII table. So for example, if you pass them into the OR function, they have a value of 127 or less, then that's going to then come back as true. So having a play around, we get true, true, true. Let's remove, let's add some exclamation marks to this one. Let's add a number to this one, and we'll add, let's do some asterisks to this one here. And we get false, false, true. And true for this one because this is still an ASCII value here. This is a valid character in the ASCII table. This is now false because we've added a 1, it's no longer in the alphabet. And these guys here, these exclamation marks, these are not 0 to 9 or A to Z, so this now comes back as false. The next three we're going to look at have a very subtle difference between them. So these are decimal, digit, and numeric. So we generally use these on strings that contain some kind of numbers. In this case here, I've got some superscript, I've got some regular integers. Differences are, really briefly, this one's going to return true if those numbers can be used to form numbers in base 10. So if we just pass in 1, 2, 3, that's absolutely fine. Let's take in some of this superscript. Because it's in a superscript, that's going to come back as false and say no for this one. This one is it's just like the other one, but it also includes those superscript numbers as well. So you can have regular numbers and superscript. And this one here, this is probably the most lax. This one will return true if any of these things here or any of the items in your string have the Unicode numeric value property. But once again, there's not a huge amount of difference between these, and generally these are only for special cases when you come into choosing one over the other. The next three we want to look at are quite interesting. So isIdentifier, this will return true if the string can be used as an identifier. So if we hit run for this, we get false because you couldn't do something like 1A is equal to 1, 2, 3 like that. This wouldn't be allowed. Say if I just went ahead and did AA, and that's absolutely fine, we get true for this one. IsPrintable, this will return true if the thing in your string will physically show up. So because if you try to print -n, that's going to show a blank space. You couldn't physically see this unless you made this into a raw string. That's going to return false. So if we run this, we see the middle one is false. However, say you just wanted to do some regular ends, if you were to print these, you would see those ends appear. So therefore this one is now true. And the last one is space. Just like it sounds, if this contains only space characters, you're going to get a true. You add some S's in there and hit run. This now becomes false because this is no longer only consisting of all space characters. And the last three, arguably the most used. Well, the last three of the is's, I should say. I've still got two more I want to check out as well. So the first one is lower. It basically says, are all the characters in lowercase? The second one is title, basically saying, for each of the words in the string, do these start with an uppercase character? And the last one is upper, just as it sounds. If each character starts, or if each character is fully uppercase like that, then we're good to go. We get true. So in this case, we get true, true, true. Let's remove this one here. Let's make that a small n, and let's do and like this in the middle. See what we get. So now we get false, false, false because this has uppercase characters here. This is no longer in title case because of the C. This is no longer in uppercase because of the N, so therefore they are all false. And the last three to check out are a little bit different because they don't start with is, but they do start with, we have the starts with and the ends with. And all these do, this is basically a fancy way of checking the start and end of a string. So if we just quickly clear the screen and hit run, we can see we both get true, and that's because this string does indeed start with www dot. Let's suppose we cranked it up like this. This one now comes back as false because the string no longer starts with that www dot. And the last one, it's basically the same in reverse. We're saying, does the string end with this substring here, so .com. Currently it's true, but if we change this to .co.uk, that's going to come back as false, and there we go. Cheers for watching, guys, and have a great week.